very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and it is back for GT4 Tuesdays with the Apex This iRacing League, and welcome along everyone to live coverage. Last week we headed to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course as Week 5 brings us to the legendary Ardennes Forest, as this circuit really needs no introduction. It is Week 5 of the Apex This iRacing League GT4 Tuesdays from the virtual recreation of Spa-Francorchamps. Hello everybody, Alex Goldschmidt, joined by Chris Murphy in the Racer Nexus broadcast booth. We will be giving you all the play-by-play as it happens over this 45-minute encounter around a circuit that measures just over 4.35 miles. That's just over 7 kilometers, has 19 turns, and this circuit first came into existence in the previous guise back in September of 1921. It has been fast, it has been furious over the first 4 weeks as we come into week number 5. So first of all, let's run you through the remainder of the calendar as it stands right now. Here on January 13th, we have Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Next week, we go back over to the Floridian state. Sebring will host the midway point of GT4 Tuesdays. Then we go to the streets of Long Beach. Mosport will be the next venue on the calendar on February 3rd. VIR on February 10th. WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca in California will be February the 17th. Bathurst at Mount Panorama in New South Wales, Australia will host the penultimate round of the series on February 24th. And it is going to be the iconic America's National Park of Speed, Road America, that will bring the series to a close on March 3rd. With that being said, we're about into the final half of our 10-minute qualifying session here as we're catching eyes on a man who took the win overall last week, Brian Lemke, finally breaking the duck after 3 successive second place finishes, as he is looking rather quick here at the 7.004 kilometre circuit that also hosts the Belgian Formula 1 Grand Prix, the 25 Hours of Fun Cup. And if you love your sports cars, it is also one of the locations for the GT4 European Series that is one of the support categories for the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa-Francorchamps under the Stéphane Rattel organisation. More to the point, let's get to a little bit of an update on the scores so far. First of all, we'll head to the Pro Division, and it is Brian Lemke that leads by nearly 30 points coming into this 5th round of the series. Brian Zinn is in second on 56 points. He's closely followed by the trio of Roman Bykov on 52, Russell Abraham on 49, and Derek Tyndall rounding out your top 5. Oz Eskelou, Kent Kruger, and DJ Alessandrini are also in the mix, and they round out the top 8 with Kelly Greenhoe and Michael Brock, who rounds out the top 10. Next of all, we go over to what we like to call affectionately the mid-pack Larrys, and Kyle Mavis continues to lead the way. He's got a big advantage, 74 points after the opening 4 rounds of the series, and he's well ahead of James Dean in second position on 48 points. He's closely followed by Sean Tita on 44, with Ryan Ryder, Harrison Mealy, Matthew Brent, Conor Menard, Dan Carrillo, Chris Diaz, Mike Bond tied with Rob Feenan on 21 points apiece. They effectively round out your top 11 here of the series. So let's take you trackside here at Spa-Francorchamps, and joining me in the Racer Nexus broadcast booth once again, the man who I've had the pleasure of spending many and many early morning here in the United Kingdom alongside. A very good evening to my partner in crime. Welcome in, Chris Murphy. Chris, how are you doing, buddy?
Excellent as always, Alex. Good morning to you, my friend. Excited to be here in Belgium. Mid-Ohio last week, middle of the country. Now we head to Belgium. And actually, look at the blue sky here. I thought maybe we might be seeing a bit of rain. We've seen so many races over the last few years here at Spa, televised with a lot of weather coming in. And you just never know what you're going to see here. But beautiful sunny skies here. A lot different than what we saw last week in Ohio.
Yes, very much the case. It was a very, very rainy affair. And I have to say, shout out to Dylan Foster for getting in touch. He said, because we did nickname a part of the circuit as the Dylan Foster rotational zone on Mid-Ohio, but he said, you know, there's still I'm still learning. It's my second wet race with the guys. I'm really enjoying the series, and that's what Apex This sim racing wants to achieve. Also, have to give a shout out to our good friends at trackcams22.com for those connoisseurs that love their track cams on the iRacing service. Big thank you to them as well. And more to the point, you might be seeing in the top right corner of your screens Apex Sim Racing. A big shout out to our friends at the Apex Sim Racing shop. And if you want a cheeky 5% discount on all your purchases, head to the referral link down in the description of our YouTube stream live. Use the referral link, and on checkout, use the code RacerNexus for 5% all purchases. We've got quite a few newcomers to the series, one of which is the number 8 BMW, the very, very bright blue and pink car of Grayson Burve, who is making his way through the circuit. But at the moment, well, Michael Brock was quickest in free practice, and the man with the Technicolor Dreamcoat Mustang has done it again. He's gone in with a 2-minute 30.637. Raul Iriarte in the number 79 is nearly 3/10 off him. The man from Puerto Rico, Brian Lemke, our overall series leader, currently P3, and is nearly 7.5 off of Michael Brock. So the Mustang really able to stretch its legs around this circuit here at Spa-Francorchamps. One of the big points here, folks, is that the cars are going to be put at big, long, lengthy speeds, especially when we come through Eau Rouge et Radiant, up the hill, onto the famed Kemmel Straight on the run into Les Combes. Going to be pushing north of about 155 miles an hour. Looking at the speed trap, Raul Iriarte, 156.4. Brian Zinn in the Ford Mustangs nearly clocked 160 miles an hour through the speed trap in the Ford Mustang and the 82. He currently runs P8, 1.3 seconds off. This is looking to be a very, very feisty round 5 here, Chris.
Oh, definitely. We're looking for an exciting race in here. Through that Camel Straight right there, I expect the Mustang to have a lot of power coming up through Eau Rouge and through Rodion, but it's who is going to, and I didn't pronounce it right, I know, but that's what I got you here for, as I always say.
Don't worry.
Radio. But, it's going to be who can keep the throttle down the longest up to that section of the racetrack and carry that speed all the way up through the Kemmel Straight, up into the Combe. And that is going to be the big thing right here, because that is where you're going to gain or lose a ton of time here tonight.
Yes, exactly, as Chequered is out for the qualifying session here at Spa-Francorchamps for week 5 out of 12. Now, for those that are new to the broadcast, you can actually see, I like that little bit of information, you can actually see the top speeds that the drivers have recorded. Michael Brock, 155 miles an hour, Raul Iriarte, 156, Brian Lemke. The BMW might be slow in a straight line, but it will make up for it. It's a big all-rounder as the BMW M4 GT4. So, but Michael's done a really, really good job. He's put it on pole position. Kyle Mavis in the number 64 mid-pack Larry's Mustang, the series leader. He's up to P3 overall. And look at that livery on that Mustang with a bit of liquid death signage and the flamed skull on the side of it. Derek Tyndall has returned to us in a Mercedes again and is running the Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 tribute livery band on that Mercedes AMG GT4 as he's going down the hill from Malmedy on his way down into Rivage. And it's a very, very tight right-hander. Then it's going to be applying the power. Then it's going to be a 90 left coming up, which will be known as either No Name Corner, Speakers Corner, Jackie X Corner. There's so many different corner names over the years as Derek tries to engage the Travis Pastrana Joker lap by going through the gravel, pulls to the left-hand side, and that is his run in qualifying completed. Harrison Mealy, now he's bringing back a very, very nice little tribute livery back from when AMG celebrated 150 years of motorsport. So good on him to do so. Harrison at the minute yet to secure a lap time so far, because he's on his 4th lap. More to the point, 3 previous ones here, Chris, have all been invalidated.
That is not going to get things done. Going to have to go to the back of the field for that. But, a little bit off. iRacing's pretty strict on these. You get off the track just a little bit sometimes or make a little contact with the wall or whatever, and your lap time is going to be scratched. And unfortunate there for Harrison. But that is a really good-looking Mercedes.
It is indeed. And more to the point, it looks like Harrison might be able to complete this lap before the server times out. He's the only driver left out on circuit. Looks like we're going to have a field of around about 27 cars after the qualifying session concludes. He runs a little bit wide coming out of campus as he flings the car right through into Stavelo. Now it's through into Coeur Paul Frere, and then he's going to be up the gearbox. And let's see, his last lap, he pushed 151.3 miles an hour through the speed trap into the right-hander. He will go and then throw it left into Blanchimont. Little tap on the brakes, the LED lights on the back of the car igniting rather quickly, and then it's into the bus stop chicane. And this is where you can really get a good crisscross and an over-under on drivers. You've got to watch out for the sausage curbs, but Harrison Mealy comes out of the final corner, out of the bus stop chicane. Will this lap register? Let's see. Waiting for the live timing to update. No, that was also invalidated. No, he didn't make it, but we have a 45-minute race ahead of us here, folks, at this 4.35-mile, 19-turn circuit. It's a 45-minute race, which will need a pit stop. Now, we've got to look at the temperatures at the minute. 96.8 degrees Fahrenheit track temperature, 69.8 degrees Fahrenheit for the air temp. But it is clear, 45 minutes. And it is going to be the case of Michael Brock will start this race from pole position. And Raul Iriarte will be alongside him. We'll go through the entirety of the grid. Once everyone is readied up, it will be... We normally have a full lap, don't we? I don't know where they're starting at the moment here, Chris, if you can possibly find...
Yeah, it looks like they're starting into, what is that? Lefon?
Lifagne?
So
that
yeah.
Will be
That's like
Lifagne.
Yep, they're going to start right there, but right before heading into there. So about half a lap. Pace stops looks like that's what we're going to have.
Yeah, so the field is starting to ready up. John Cooper yet to jump on the grid. He qualified pretty well in this session in the 77 Porsche. P6, Spencer Bourdoin and Russell Abraham. They are, well, Spencer's just jumped on the grid in the 010 Mustang. Russell in the 046 yet to jump on the grid. Juan Comunero and Kurt Basler yet to do so. Basler representing Germany in this race. But more to the point, we have got a little bit of a countdown happening, and if those drivers do not make it onto the grid, Russell Abraham has just jumped onto the grid, and it will be the Porsche safety car that will lead us around from, I think that's, off Pouhon into Lifagne, into Campus, then Stavelo, and then all the way through Coeur Paul Frere and into Blanchimont before we take it to green here at Spa-Francorchamps. Just waiting, and when the pace car pulls away, it will be the case the 5 lights will be ready to ignite to red before we go racing, and there we go. So here's your starting grid. Michael Brock and Raul Iriarte will start on the front row of this 5th round of the series. Kyle Mavis and Brian Lemke round out row number 2. Very good start by the 64. And it's going to be Derek Tyndall and John Cooper rounding out row 3. Row 4, Jesse Meager and Brian Zinn. And then rounding out your top 10 will be the following: Roman Bykov and Thomas Lathrop in the Aston Martin and the Porsche. Row 6 will be Oz Eskelou and Spencer Baudouin, Mercedes versus Mustang. Russell Abraham and Ryan Ryder, BMW and Mustang, row 7. Next up will be row number 8. It's Ken Kruger and Joseph Lair, BMW versus Detroit's finest. Row 9, it's Michael Chase and Uwe Hale. And then rounding out your top 20 on the grid will be Rob Phelan in the Lego Speed Champions Edition Mustang, and Grayson Berv alongside him. Dylan Foster and David Stockrider will round out row number 11. Row 12, John Aguiledo and Mike Bond. And then Harrison Mealy due to start 25th alongside him, Matthew Brent. Juan Comunero and Germany's Kurt Basler set to start at the back of the grid. Looks like Basler has not been able to join the server. Comunero is going to be starting from pit road. We will be using the GP loop, so they won't have to go down the hill to effect their pit stops. It will be the normal Formula 1 pit lane that they will be using. And as I said, it is going to be Brock and Iriarte lining up alongside each other The American versus the Puerto Rican as we go through the bus stop chicane. Pace car in the pit road, 45 minutes here at the iconic Ardennes Forest-based Spa-Francorchamps circuit. We will now get ourselves ready. They will be in 2x2 formation. We go to green here and they accelerate on the run down to La Source. And Michael Brock takes the initial advantage. Brian Lepke's got the full beams on behind Raul Uriarte, who flings the 718 Cayman GT4 to the outside. 3 wide a little bit further back. Everyone trying to make their way through. There's a little bit of a run off by the Lego Speeds champion Mustang as they go down the hill into Eau Rouge and Radiant for the first time. Up the hill they go. Brock leads the way. Uriarte, Mavis, Lepke, Cooper, Brian Zinn, Derek Tyndall, Jesse Meager, Thomas Lathrop and Spencer Baudouin round out your top 10. Baudouin making 2 places on the start, and it's 2x2. The side drive's going to be quite crucial here. Roman Bykov gets past Spencer Baudouin, that's for 10th position. Rob Phelan gets a slowdown penalty. Juan Colmenero also gets a slowdown penalty as Thomas Lathrop trying to go around the outside through into Lecombe on Jesse Meager, unable to facilitate that. But there's a turnaround. Spencer Baudouin's been hit in the left rear, and the Mustang's gone around and it's scattered the cars like skittles.
Unfortunate for Spencer. He's not had the best of luck here lately, and he is going to jump right to the pits after that. I didn't really see a lot of damage, but we'll jump back over and take a look at this here in just a second. But unlucky there for Spencer. We saw it 3 wide through the first corner right there. And I just got to mention real quick, YouTube chat's got a big cheering section in there for Grayson. We'll see if he can get that number 8 car up towards the front of this thing. But right now, Michael Brock with really good pace here on the first lap.
Yeah, the Mustang able to stretch its legs around this circuit where you can be at full throttle for probably the best part of 65%. Ryan Ryder takes a little bit of a spin in the number 181 Mustang with that very patriotic Ford livery, and it was the contact between him and Spencer, and Ryan was very, very lucky he did not get a tap from Spencer. Spencer manages to hold the brakes. Looks like another one of these Sky Lounge Motorsport cars. It was the chrome red BMW that had a sideways glance. Michael Chase has been off the circuit in his own right. So John Cooper being chased down by Ryan Zinn, number 82 Ford Mustang. They are literally bumper to bumper as we head into the bus stop chicane. Zinn looks to the inside ever so briefly. Dylan Foster there challenging Harrison Neely and Matthew Brent for 20th and 21st. But Ryan Ryder again, he's gone and used the Travis Pastrana gravel trap joker coming out of Blanchimont. Ryan Ryder having an absolute nightmare. Juan Colmenaro's just got a slowdown penalty, but Ryan Ryder has had an absolute nightmare. He started 9 places from where he is now. He's currently 23rd. Juan Colmenaro's yellow has turned into a black flag, so he's instantly gone in to serve the penalty. So Colmenero, this is coming through into pit lane. Yep, so look at that. Nice big iRacing logo on the top of that bright banana yellow Porsche. But nevertheless, Michael Brock starting to pull away. He's got a second lead over Raul Uriarte, who's been chased down by Kyle Mavis in the number 64, the leader of the mid-pack Larrys in the series. But a moment there for Brian Zinn. Derek Tyndall looked to the inside at Lecombe. I'm afraid, Brian Zinn, you are going to have to serve a slowdown penalty for more than cutting the second half of Lecombe. He literally straight lined it, and this is now going to give the opportunity into revenge for John Cooper, looking to the inside of Derek Tyndall. Tyndall does not give way, holds the racing line, and then you've got the likes of Lathrop. Meager is there, so 3 Porsches chasing down a Mercedes and a Mustang. Brian Zinn has got to serve that slowdown penalty very, very quickly, which he's doing now. He should hopefully clear that very shortly, but that brings him just in front of Derek Tyndall. So there we go, the slowdown penalty. The 82 Mustang has been scrubbed.
Yeah, I don't think Brian even saw Derek down there. He started to turn in and then turned away, and that's what took him off the racetrack through the chicane there.
Yeah, looks like Spencer might have suffered a lot of right rear damage, well, a lot of damage afterwards, and it was Russell Abraham. That was the car that had a secondary impact. That was the car that accidentally had a little swipe with Spencer Baudouin, who's still in the pit lane after nearly 3.5 minutes. But Grayson Bove doing a really good job. 13th position. He's made up 7 places in the opening lap and a half or so. as Michael Brock now pulls away. He's making hay whilst the sun shines here in the Ardennes Forest, and he's 1.3 seconds up the road ahead of Raul Uriarte. Kyle Mavis is now being challenged by Brian Lemke. Looking at the top speeds, Brock 153.3, Uriarte 153.7, 154.2 miles an hour for Kyle Mavis. Ryan Ryder now starting to dust himself off a little bit. He's chasing down Matthew Brent in the BMW just in front, number 58 from the UK, and Ryder gets to the outside. Brent doesn't really fight it. Side by side a little bit further up, it's Uwe Hale versus, I think that is going to be John Aguiledo, and you've got Mike Bond just in front. Oh god, that's a traditional Mustang livery if ever you saw it. Blue with black Viper black stripes right down the middle. Oh, that's a great livery that Mike Bond has decided to have on that one. Meantime, Harrison Mealy is between a rock and a hard place because he's got right behind him Ryan Ryder, and he's also got David Stockrider in the BMW. That is so close to Lily making contact. They have a little bit of a brush, and that allows Ryan Ryder to get through, but Harrison Mealy goes way too wide coming out of Randy, and that's going to give the overspeed to Ryder to the outside of the Kemmel Straight. This is going to give him the opportunity to get through. Nice work there by the 181 Mustang to get through on the Mercedes-Benz.
Nice move.
Mealy tries to dive up. Yeah, Mealy tries to dive up the inside through into Lecombe. Ryan Ryder says, no, you don't. Gives him a little bit of a hip check. And it's contact between the BMW, the two BMWs. That's Stockrider going off the circuit. It was Dylan Foster that managed to get his elbows slightly out, but some good hard racing. Caution, danger is what Dylan Foster's livery says, as we've got Joe Mayer versus Oz Escalou. This is for 11th position as they come through the second half of Pouhon. Mustang versus the Mercedes. They are both very capable vehicles in a straight line, but Joe Mayer making the back end of that Mustang wider than an articulated lorry on the highway.
Great racing going on here early on. A lot of good competition. We're looking at racing. Go back here and look at racing up 6 months. Our big mover right now is Mike Bond. Started back in 24th, all the way up to 16th right now, up 8 spots. So Mike Bond making his way through this field. And that 123 Ford Mustang looking really good out there today.
He is indeed. He's really using the strengths of the straight line speed of that Ford Mustang as they come through campus now into Stavelot. He's got the two BMWs of Kruger and Bova in front of him, and now he's really latching on his bump drafting through on the inside. He's got the inside very much open for his advantage through into Blanchimont, and through goes Mike Bond, does he? It's going to be nip and tuck. Kent Kruger has all 4 wheels off track, gets a slow down penalty for his troubles, and then decides to dive back behind Mike Bond, who gets through and now challenges Grayson Burr for that 14th spot. Raul Iriarte's had he's got some trouble coming in behind him. That's Kyle Mavis, who's going to pull to the left-hand side down from the source into Eau Rouge. The Mustang slots back in behind the 7.8 Cayman. Brian Lemke just holding station, just making sure that he crosses every T, dots every I. The RT runs one coming out of Ranion, and now Kyle Mavis is going to get the overspeed here, but he nearly had an opportunity. He's going to nigh on bump draft him, pull to the outside, the left-hand side of the Puerto Rican into Lecombe. Late on the brakes goes Mavis. He's half a car length in front, and I think he's going to make it just about. He still keeps 2 wheels in track limits, but look at Brian Lemke. He's like Shere Khan from the Jungle Book, waiting in the reeds for his opportunity to get through as they head down into Rivage. And once again, Iriarte has the inside line. This could open the door here for Lemke, but Kyle Mavis, with that absolute commitment in himself and the car underneath him, he's going to try to the left-hand side to get the inside line through into Speaker's Corner, but no. Iriarte says, you've got to do more than that to get past me. And Brian Lemke says, hello, boys. Remember, I've been behind you this whole time whilst you've been battling away.
Kyle Mavis got really good pace here in that Mustang. You saw him up at Eau Rouge, really with a lot of pace up the hill, up into the Kemmel Straight, and could we see our first mid-pack Lurry overall winner? I think if he can get past Raul right here, he might have some pace to run down Michael Brock, as Michael Brock is kind of snuck away by about 5 seconds right now, where these guys are battling for a second. But don't count Lemke out of this yet. He is just looking for an opportunity to get by Mavis and get by Raul and get himself up into second, see if he can get his second win in a row.
It's going to be a tall order because that BMW does not have the straight line speed of the Mustangs. And and they are incredibly powerful. Carl Mavis last time around 155.2 miles an hour through the speed trap. Jesse Meager in the 172 Porsche Cayman has just done 158.5 miles an hour through the speed trap. We are approaching 160 miles an hour in some cases, as you can see on the indicated timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen. The speeds that the drivers have been able to go through the top speed trap. As Grayson Burr through on the inside of John Aguiledo through at Blanchimont. They both run off the circuit ever so slightly. Aguiledo gets the slowdown. Bover doesn't. Now that was very, very nicely done by the man in the number 8 BMW M4 GT4, as he's going to go chasing after Ken Kruger again. They are battling for 14th position overall. So this is where things are going to be rather crucial. We're 10 minutes into this 45-minute race here at Spa-Francorchamps. And one of the things about Resorts, and it's something that I noticed when I actually went to visit, I actually visited the circuit on the week of the Grand Prix 24 Hours of Spa. There's actually an inside dip at the source. And if you catch that wrong, you can actually end up in the barriers, unfortunately. Meantime, Derek Tyndall fighting away with John Cooper and Brian Zinn. This is the battle for P5 overall as they make their way through Le Com. And it's going to be interesting to see when drivers decide to dive into pit lane here, Chris, because this is a very, very long circuit. It's a very, very fuel-heavy circuit as well, to boot.
Yeah, you know, you look at a position like Brian Linke. Brian looks to maybe be a little bit quicker than Mavis there in front of him, so maybe he might want to pit a little bit early, see if he can get some clean air, get a good outlap, to get some, maybe make up a little undercut there on these guys in front of him. We might see a little bit of that. Kind of see the same thing back here with Tyndall. Tyndall's stuck behind Cooper right now. He looks to be a little bit stronger. Actually, he's going to look to the inside right now at Cooper. Can he make the pass here? Going to have to settle back behind one more time, so we may see some strategy playing out. We're about quarter way through this race right now, 33 minutes left to go. I think we're going to see pit stops probably in about the next 10 minutes, and we're going to see just who has a different strategy. We saw it play out the last few weeks. Just a little bit different strategy has really helped some guys out. And look at Tyndall all over the back of Cooper.
Yeah, coming through campus and now Stavlo, as it will be hard on the accelerators. Thomas Lathrop and Roman Bykov has made this a quartet, battling away for what is 6th position on the road here. But still a very, very credible job by our drivers so far. Some clean, some very fast, some very, very close quarter racing here at Spa-Francorchamps. But Michael Brock has now got a lead of 5.3 seconds over Raul Iriarte and Kyle Mavis, who is leading his class but is also in an overall rostrum position. So Kyle Mavis doing a really, really good job. Brian Lemke is still keeping himself in the fights here, but at the meantime, I'm going to be interested to see what lap time's going to be from Max and Brian Zinn. He's just set a personal best of 2:31.768. More than that, he was 4.5 tenths slower than Brian Lemke. So Lemke's trying to keep it consistent with regards to lap times around here, and that could really, really help. Cause. Ryan Ryder, in the meantime, has been charging up the way through the field, as we see a replay of Oz Escalou, who's the snout on that Mercedes-Benz has seen better days. It's looked like it's actually hit a post in the parking lot. But more to the point, he's tried to turn it left and it's understeered, and that right front is broken.
Yeah, it definitely is. Heavy damage there for Oz. He's been in the pits there for a little while now, so unfortunate for him. Did Spencer make it? I think Spencer was in the pits as well, so it looks like we're down to a couple of cars. And I was going to say, you know, compared to what we watched last week at Mid-Ohio, I couldn't keep the replay button going fast enough last week. We had cars off everywhere. It's a really great racing here at Spa. Of course, the weather's definitely helping out, but look at this close racing here for a second with Raul Mavis and Lemke just battling it out right here. Let's see if anybody can get clear of this and set their sights on Brock. As Brock is now 6.5 seconds clear of this battle for second. Cooper off the track there in the background, but looks like he gets back on. And Tyndall's going to look to the inside.
Yeah, Tyndall was also off the track. It was coming out of Speaker's Corner, and they're going through into Pouhon once again. Like, Tyndall is trying everything in the NFL playbook at the moment, and you know, John Cooper has been able to defend as best he can as they go into Le Fang. Roman Bykov is still with them. He's got through on Thomas Lathrop, so Bykov up to 8th overall as they come through out of Le Fagn in towards Campos and Stavlo, the double right-hander. Before it's the run through into curveball flare. Ryan Ryder closing in on Grayson Berger for that 15th spot overall. After what's been a dismal opening 10 or so minutes of this race, as we hit the 30-minute mark to go here at Spa-Francorchamps for week 5 of Apex this, and there's been contact, and that is Harrison Mealy and Matthew Brent coming together, and David Sockrider says thank you very much.
Harrison going to get the worst of that. He is going to end up off the racetrack. We just kind of jumped over the right when it happened. Let's see if we can see get a little replay of this. So we see Harrison right there in the front. They're going to make it 3 wide.
Yes, Matthew to the inside, David to the outside, and oh dear, under braking, and then contact made between Mealy and Brent, and then all of a sudden Sockrider able to thread the eye of the needle between the pair of them, get through, get the job done, and Harrison's spinning up the rear tyres through the kitty litter and bringing that gravel all onto the circuit here at Spa-Francorchamps. Not exactly what Mercedes driver wanted. That's dumped him all the way down to 23rd position. Meantime, Michael Chase, who's gone with a very much chrome affected car, you can't exactly miss, as Matthew Brent decides to go into pit lane, so that will probably be to repair damage, and maybe to, I mean, even if you fill up now with the limited fuel that you have in the car, whether that's going to get him to the end of the race or whether he's going to have to do a splash and dash. Meantime, John Cooper has still got, well, he's dropped Derek Tyndall a little bit. Brian's in. The Maximum Effort Motorsports team is still trying to hold on to that 5th place in the Ford Mustang as they go down the hill from Malmedy into Rivage once again. This is we get a real understanding of how much gap there is, and how much the descent here at Spa-Francorchamps really is, because it's a big old downhill descent all the way through from Radion all the way down in towards Blanchimont as Mike Bond puts on the wipers to clear the dust off his windscreen. He's closing in on John Aguiledo as this is the battle for 13th position. The Mustang unable to get through on the Aston Martin Vantage GT4 as they go down the hill once again, but still at this moment Michael Brock, we haven't spoken much about him because he's been cantering away into the distance. Ryan Ryder still battling away with Grayson Berger as Mike Bond gets through on John Aguiledo, who gets a slowdown penalty. There's Michael enjoying his Wednesday evening drive in the Spa sunshine, let's say, in the Mustang. So he's just keeping it nice and calm, very, very nice and calm. And that's the best way that you can be around here at Spa. If you make any unforced errors, what happens? We've seen it several times here. It's when you make a mistake, you go to you end up spinning around, or you end up off the track, and you lose a big amount of places. As Grayson Berger and Ryan Ryder might have just hit their incident limits. With regards to incident points, they are going to have to serve black flag penalties, I'm afraid. And they've both been pushing the envelope with the BMW and the Ford drivers. So they're going to come through into Bosch. 3 laps to serve the black flag penalty, which thank goodness is only down the GP pit lane, not the full thing, because otherwise you have to go through the inside of the wall. You're supposed to go down the hill, up the hill, and then you come out just as everyone's going through into Radion. So Grayson and Ryan decide let's just get the penalties out of the way, shall we, and dive into pit road. And there you see the visual difference. 7 seconds is the gap between first and second position. Kyle Mavis really has kept Raul Iriarte, the Puerto Rican, in second position in the 79 Porsche. Very, very honest, and Lemke is still waiting there to bide his time. I think Ryan's playing with a 3000 IQ strategy. That's what I mean by that, is he's staying behind them because he knows that the more fuel he can save per lap, the more he can go on if they decide to pit before him.
Yeah, if you can shorten that time in the pits, gain out, and just have a much better outlap. If Mavis gets off the track a little bit, Lemke's going to be able to look alongside of Mavis, not able to get around. But Raul Iriarte has actually made put a little bit of a gap between these two. And Mavis struggling right there. The last couple of corners off the pace, and Lemke is going to let Lemke get past him here. So let's see if Lemke can chase down Raul for that second spot now. But it looks like maybe, and that's exactly what you see here at Spa. Just a little bit of lack of concentration, one little slip, and it just compounds itself. As you saw right there, Mavis made one mistake, turned around a couple of corners later, made another mistake, and that cost him a spot.
and also with the fact that the track temperature is 107.6 degrees Fahrenheit, which is close to 50 degrees Celsius. So these tyres will be screaming blue murder. They're being pulled from pillar to post. 42 degrees track temperature, 21 degrees as John Cooper goes very wide coming out of Stavlo. Derek Tyndall bounces to the inside and gets the jump on the 77. Well, that just goes to show how quickly, if your tyres are starting to fail a little bit here, Roman Bykov is now hustling John Cooper along through Blanchimont at big speed. I thought John Cooper could have gone off at that point. Roman Bykov has to hold on the brakes because he had to check up there, and he's diving to the inside of the bus stop chicane. And John Cooper keeps it to the outside. Roman Bykov still unable to get past. This is bringing in Lathrop and Meager for what is an absolutely dynamic squabble here for 7th position overall. Cooper somehow, some way has managed to, but he's had to check his steering as Roman Bykov, I think, might have just tagged the wall on the inside of the source, and he's going to drop right down behind Jesse Meager if he's not careful. Meager's going to get the run on him down into Eau Rouge and has to slot him behind the Aston Martin. But Roman Bykov made an absolute hash of La Source right there while seeing that there was a door wide open by John Cooper.
Well, I think Cooper actually started to turn in. We'll take a look here real quick. I think Cooper started to turn in on him, and Bykov reacted by turning to the right just a little bit and actually drove. Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. I think he saw Cooper turning down and just kind of made a reaction move and turned to the right just a little bit, and unfortunately makes contact with the wall. And then you can see as Cooper at the same time kind of turned back to the left. So unfortunate there for Bykov, who I saw in the Discord this week, they were pretty much calling Bykov the king of the rain last week after he made a charge through the field. But not having quite as much luck here so far this week in the dry weather at Spa.
Yeah, it's not being that easy for these drivers around here at the circuit. We are coming up towards half-time of this race. So it will be around about the 23.5-minute mark. So we are getting close, well, 22.5-minute mark. So we're about 30 seconds away from half-time. Harrison Meany gets another slow down penalty, I'm afraid. So it's gone from bad to worse for the man in the number 15 Mercedes AMG car. And this is going to be going through into the bus stop chicane. You've got to very much watch out for those sausage curves. Completely misses his braking point and goes off the circuit. So not being an easy one for the man in the Mercedes, I'm afraid. Jesse Meager now trying to see if he can close in on Roman Bykov, who's lost a big amount of time to Thomas Lathrop. Ryan Ryder now battling with David Stockrider in the BMW just in front. This is for 17th position overall, so the 27 BMW M4 ahead of the number 181 Ford Mustang. So they will make their way through Lifagne. Mike Bond, in the meantime, is ahead of John Aguilera. These two have been inseparable. It's like they've got magnets in the bumpers as Brian Lemke at the 22-minute mark to go decides to bring the 041 Sky Lounge Motorsports BMW M4 GT4 into pit lane. So he's decided, okay, I don't want to sit behind these guys, I want to get ahead of them. So this pit stop for Brian is going to be absolutely crucial. He's going to have a very short run coming out of pit lane. So just over 12 seconds stationary in pit road. John Aguilera is coming to pit lane. Carl Mavis has got a slowdown penalty. So 20 seconds bang on the nose that Brian Lemke was sitting stationary in pit lane. And now at this point, well, Raul Iriarte is closing in on a back marker. That is going to be Grayson Berth, who's now down in 25th position, as Jesse Meager closing in on Roman Bykov down the long Kemmel straight into Le Comte. This is the battle for P8 on the road, and as you can see, Mike Bond has made the biggest amount of moves tonight. 12 places gained from 24th on the grid, rounds out P12 in the meantime, and he has got Brian Lemke about 4.1 seconds. But by the time we have the pit stop circulated, Chris, it will give us a better indication of the pecking order.
Yeah, let's see where Lemke's. I'm really curious to see where he's at without them here. See if that actually is going to be an advantage to him coming here, getting out a lap, maybe two before everybody else. Right now, you can see Lemke right here making his way out on his outlap. He needs a really strong outlap here if he is going to make up any ground on either Brock or Raul right there. And and let's see if he can do it here. So sometimes this undercut works very well, but it looks like he kind of came out in some clean air, not any lap cars around him. So let's see how the strategy plays out for Brian. Won last week at Mid-Ohio, looking for his second win here, but Michael Brock is really strong. And I see Jen in the chat. He keeps telling us not to jinx Michael. She's in there. Look, you know what? Maybe Michael doesn't have to sleep on the couch tomorrow after this one. If he can hang on here, Alex.
All I'm going to say is there's nothing about jinxing people. It's fate of circumstance. You might just be talking about when something happens. I do not believe in the commentator's curse.
Well,
You're just telling a story.
Well, of course you don't. You're the commentator. Why would you believe it?
Why would you want to curse somebody as Michael now dives into pit lane from the race lead? So Raul Iriarte actually dives in at the same time. So we're now seeing that Kyle Mavis dives in. Let's see if the trend continues. Brian Zinn is in pit lane. Derek Tyndall is in pit lane. John Cooper, Thomas Lathrop. And now the pins in the bowling alley are starting to fall down into place for you to get your strike. Russell Abraham should be the next one to come in. And then Ken Kruger, Mike Bond. So by the way things are going, no, Russell Abraham decides to stay out. Okay, so he now goes to the de facto lead of the race in front of, because now Lemke is going to make his way up the order, but Michael Brock came out about 1.5 seconds behind Russell Abraham. So good call there. Brian Lemke now P3, and he's ahead of Raul Iriarte, who jumped Kyle Mavis in the pit lane. And look, there they are. Lemke's at full speed coming down from the source. Kyle Mavis on the pit lane exit has got past on the Porsche. So Raul Iriarte, the Puerto Rican, who was a lot of time running up until P2 before the pit stop phase, well, you've just been outgunned, my friend.
Yeah, Raul actually in the pits a little bit longer, about almost 2 seconds longer than anybody else, and that really cost him on the racetrack. Lemke able to jump up in front of him, Mavis as well. And actually Brock gained a little time there in the pits, was a little faster, I think, coming in and out of the pits. He's actually now 11 seconds back to Lemke, as Brock is now trying to chase down Abraham. Abraham's still yet to pit, and so once he decides he's going to have to dive in here in the next lap, it's going to give Brock back the lead, and he is going to have almost a 10-second lead back to Lemke. Look at Abraham get off the track there. I saw a little gravel thrown up in the air in front of Michael Brock.
Yeah, I'm just wondering to see how much time this is going to cost Russell Abraham, because it means that he'll be fueling for 1 lap less. Raul Iriarte closing in on Kyle Mavis. Now, bearing in mind that Mavis is leading the mid-pack Larry division, and he is at this point on course for an overall rostrum here at Spa-Francorchamps. Don't forget a big thank you to everyone that is watching on the Racer Nexus YouTube channel. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up, a like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you want to get your 5% discount for anything from the Apex Sim Racing shop, hit the referral link in the description down below. Use the coupon code RacerNexus and check out for a cheeky 5% discount on any purchase that you make from our friends at the Apex Sim Racing shop. You're in the company of Alex Goldschmidt and Chris Murphy, live from the Racer Nexus broadcast booth here at Spa-Francorchamps, as we see Roman Bykov closing in on the tail end of John Cooper. So it is Porsche versus Aston Martin, as Russell Abraham has just come into pit lane. So Michael Brock returns to the race lead with 16 minutes and 40 still to go as we complete lap number 11 of this race. Kyle Mavis will be in P3 as Bykov looks to the outside. He nearly put 2 wheels on the grass on the brakes. Under braking going into the bus stop chicane. He's trying left, he's trying right, and John Cooper saying no, you will not pass. You shall not pass. And the number 77 Sky Lounge Motorsports Porsche is really putting on a great defensive display ahead of the 013 Aston Martin.
Back up hard on the brakes right there. Actually, they'll lose. Excuse me, I'm actually surprised he's going to stay up there with Cooper right on the back bumper of that 77.
So up the hill they go through a route at over 130 miles an hour. This is going to be really close, but Bykov's going to have the slipstream advantage. Going through into the Kemmel Straights, can the Aston Martin get the overspeed on the Porsche? As they got the short run up to Le Combe, we ride on board with Roman Bykov. He ducks out of the challenge into Le Combe. lets it trail break ever so slightly in the 013 Aston Martin as they go through Lecombe, down into Malmedy, now down the hill into Rivage. Cooper trying not to dirty up the tyres with that gravel on the left side of the Porsche as Bykov takes a wider line coming through into Rivage, now into Speaker's Corner, the 90 left coming up. And Cooper is just really putting on such a great defence ahead of Roman Bykov. But there is going to be a case of, with these drivers, something's got to give. It's unstoppable force versus immovable objects as they go through Pouhon. We just got under the 15-minute mark remaining. And this battle for 8th position is like a firecracker. You don't know when you're going to actually reach the end of it.
No, Bykov looks, again, we're seeing this. He's got a little bit better pace than Cooper, but like you said, Cooper just putting up one heck of a defense here on him. Let's see if they can come around here, get back up onto the long camel straight and see if Bykov can get that pace. But right now, just a fantastic race here. Cooper and Bykov, they had almost got together just a few laps ago and are right back out battling it. So, you know, this is what we see all the time in this Apex this series, the GT4 cars. Just some fantastic racing all the way throughout the field. Sometimes it's hard to even find to jump back and forth and to keep up with the battles that are going on.
Yeah, completely right there, Chris, as they go through Blanchimont once again. We are now on to lap number 13, and Michael Brock, in the meantime, has just set the new fastest lap of the race at 2:30.30.460. He had an over 5.5 second lead before the pit stops. His lead is now double that over Brian Lemke, so it is 11.3 seconds as the 421 Ford Mustang makes its way onto the Kemmel Straight here on lap number 13, as Bykov and Cooper again go through at La Source at the top of the hill. Down we go again at high velocity. It's a quick combination into the left at Rouge, up the hill, through into the left here at Radiant, and then onto the Kemmel Straight. 2 wheels off the track by Roman Bykov. Iliati and Mavis just up ahead have got both slowdown penalties, but Roman Bykov unable to close that gap as John Cooper pulls the left-hand side to make the defence on the run into Lecombe. Bykov takes the wider sweep into the corner. The Cause Light 013 Aston Martin has not been able to make it through again off the Kemmel Straight. Meantime, Ryan Ryder battling the Lego Speed Champions Edition Mustang piloted by Rob Phelan in the number 90. They have got a battle of their own going down from La Source in towards Eau Rouge Irradiant. And these cars will be absolutely thundering their way up the hill in the Ardennes Forest with the virtual grandstands packed to the rafters. And all Phelan goes off the circuit. He's going to get a slowdown penalty. Ryan Ryder put the pressure on and Phelan buckled underneath it. Yeah, definitely the case. But it just goes to show the creative minds when it comes to liveries here on the iRacing service. Raul Uriarte now battling away with Brian Zinn for third overall. We go back to Bykov versus Cooper. Ding ding, round 35, probably by the amount of times they've had squabbles all the way through this race so far. We've got 11.5 minutes to go at the until the checkered. And in the meantime, we have had some retirees, I'm afraid. Matthew Brent in the number 58 BMW out on lap 10. Joseph Mayer out on lap 5, and Spencer Bourdois after a tap. And at the exit of Lecombe out on the opening lap of the race. So we still have Grayson Berv in the 24th place, number 8 BMW M4. Has just picked up a slowdown penalty. Brian Zinn, however, started on the outside of row 4, now runs in the 3rd spot. He's got Raul Iriarte chasing him down, so Rob Phelan will have to serve that black flag penalty within the next 2 to 3 laps as Grayson Bove serves his slowdown penalty. Roman Bykov has just got a slowdown now, I think probably for exceeding track limits, as Iriarte and Zinn start swapping paint going through into Lecombe. And can the Puerto Rican get the inside line? No, he can't. The Mustang sweeps right round the outside. And keep your eyes on Kyle Mavis in the Liquid Death Mustang just behind. He wants to get back into third.
Now Mavis trying to take advantage of those two battling right there. Closes it back on the back of Raul Ariati. And Zinn right there in front. Zinn actually made his way around these two up into third when they had to serve their slowdown. So nice run from Zinn. Up 5 spots, started back in 8. Let's see if he can put any pressure on Lemke. And actually, I'm looking at her towards the front again. And Lemke is actually losing ground to Brock. And it looks like Zinn and this battle for third might be closing in on him here pretty soon. So they're got about 4 seconds. Let's see if they can make up that ground.
To be honest with you, I think Brian Lemke is just crossing the T's, dotting the I's, getting that car across the line for good points. In second position, it will be 4 out of 5 second place finishes for the 041 Sky Lounge Motorsports BMW M4. I mean, looking at it this respectively, Michael Brock is like 7/10 of a lap quicker than Lemke. I think on the last time he was nearly 8/10 of a second quicker than the BMW. Looking at Lemke and Zinn, not much in it really, because Brian Zinn's running on a low 31.6, Lemke's a high 31.5. Iriarte is on a 32.8. Mavis is just on 3. Tyndall and Lathrop both have just done their fastest laps of the race, so I think Tyndall and Lathrop are going to be closing into the battle between Zinn, Iriarte and Mavis, so that could be a quintet of cars battling for an overall final step of the rostrum. Look, they're all in the same shot as Iriarte swings to the outside of Brian Zinn, going in the run down the start-finish stretch into the source. We've got 8 minutes and 40 to go, and that's a dive and a half there by Raul Iriarte. He's going to try and go wheel-to-wheel with the Mustang, but the Mustang has that additional torque through that rear axle. And now that's able to allow Brian Zinn to get the power down through into the source. A little bit of a touch on the brakes by Brian Zinn, just to make sure the car does not exceed track limits. More to the point, well, he brakes off to the left-hand side to say to Raul Iriarte, you are not getting a slipstream down the Kemmel Straight, because Iriarte's car's bouncing off the rev limiter, and Mavis is right in his rear-view mirror.
Yeah, surprised Raul didn't kind of follow him over there to get that slipstream, but that Mustang just good power up the hill right there, able to put a little separation. And look at Mavis all over the back of Raul right here, trying to get back up into the 4 spot here, but he. Look, I mean, like you said, Tyndall is working his way into this battle as well. Derek Tyndall's had some adventures in this race, but now up into 6, trying to get himself back into the top 5.
Yes, indeed, and he just did a personal best of 2:31.7, and he's dropped Thomas Lathrop for dust at the minute, so that's helped him. Roman Bykov, despite having a couple of track limit penalties, has closed into John Cooper as we take a quick shot at a slow-mo replay. Grayson Berv, oh, that was straight on. That car has just hit the outside wall going into pit lane. And here's Oz Escalou. Well, for the 911 Mercedes, that's been through the mire, broken right front suspension and steering. He then I'm wondering whether he's misjudged it on fuel, possibly. John Aguiledo in the Aston Martin running P14 has just served a slowdown penalty, but look at this, it's getting a bit fast and frantic here for P3 as Brian's in, still holding in ahead of Raul Iriarte as they go through Albuquerque Frere on run through into Blanchimont corner. Dab of brakes by Brian Zinn again. There's Roman Bykov right with John Cooper. My goodness me, I don't know how these drivers have kept it so clean and so close for so long. We are heading into the last 6.5 minutes of the motor race as Bykov hard on the quickly moves to the left-hand side of the 77 Sky Lounge Motorsports Porsche Cayman 718, and through the bus stop chicane, John Cooper, the Canadian, able to keep that car in front of the Aston Martin, number 013 of Roman Bykov. But with 6 minutes to go, it is going to be anyone's guess. We've probably got about 2, maybe 3 laps at most. And if Michael Brock, who's currently running in the 2-minute 39.9s, that effectively means 3 laps to go, because with 2.5 minutes, that's 5 minutes of racing. Kyle Mavis so wide, coming out of Radion, but still keeps 2 wheels within track limits. So the Iriarte now gets the slipstream on Brian Zinn, and he's going to pull to the left-hand side as the Porsche, and it's in the run down the Kemmel Straight into Le Combe, and Idiate to the outside. That was way too deep. That was never going to work. He needed to be really very much wheel to wheel, and then Kyle Mavis dives on the brakes into Le Combe. Now he's got a sniff at an opportunity going for fourth as they go down the hill from Malmedy into Rivage, and there was enough room for Mavis to possibly facilitate the move, but however Idiate was able to put half of the Porsche there to block that door off, and here comes the fast charging Mercedes, good old Derek Tyndall, the 042, really starting to bring the speed to the three in front and saying, well, you guys have been fighting all the while, now it's my time to the cherry.
Yeah, Tyndall trying to get up her. These guys are going at it so hard. Just Tyndall kind of hanging back right there, looking for an opportunity. What you can do is just watch for those guys in front of you to make a little mistake while they're battling, take advantage of it. I think that's exactly what Tyndall's trying to do. He started up in fifth, fell back to this field a little bit, made his way back up to sixth right now, and he's hungry to get back up there around Mavis. But looking up there at Brian Zinn, he has got his hands full with Raul right there behind him. Let's see if he can hang on. See if Raul can get another run up that Kemmel Straight. I'm really looking to see if he can do it, see if he can get enough pace, see if he can brave enough to stay on the outside heading through that chicane at the top of the hill.
Yeah, that's going to be a big 64,000 euro question. That's going to be answered very, very shortly as we get into the final 4 minutes. Bit of, and Kyle Mavis to the outside, and Raul Idiate gets squeezed in a Mustang sandwich, and there is Derek Tyndall. He was poised, he waited, he got through. Great work by Tyndall. Great spatial awareness by the Mercedes, the 042. Derek Tyndall goes back to fifth place, which is exactly where he started the race 41.5 minutes ago, and he still has an opportunity. He's got a Porsche and a Mustang to deal with as we are now on lap number 17. Michael Brock already 30% of the way through the lap. He's 14.1 seconds ahead of Brian Lemke, who started P4 after qualifying, now runs second overall, will continue to extend his lead. Next time out when we go on to Long Beach on January 20th for the halfway point of this season of Apex. This GT4 Tuesdays live here on Racer Nexus. 3 minutes to go, 180 seconds, and we are still not over with this battle for P3 by a damn long sight, because Thomas Lathrop is also closing in. He's already up 3 positions from 10th on the grid, as Idiate once again is trying to look for the move up the inside through into Rivage, and Brian Zinn just able to cut the nose off of the number 79 Porsche, the man from Puerto Rico, who's done everything. He's tried everything in the book and he still cannot make it work, whereas Derek Tyndall is seeing that there is an opportunity. Roman Bykov gets a little bit of a wiggle on coming out of Rivage at that point as they go through Speaker's Corner to Cooper and Bykov. The battle for P8 and P9 has still been raging on, and Jesse Meager is starting to close on in the dying stages of this race. David Sockrider has just come in for another pit stop. Maybe he's measured it badly on fuel. Juan Comanero's got a black flag penalty. Grayson Berver's just served and Roman's going to look for the inside line here, but John's got the overspeed in the Porsche. Look, the Porsche's able to get the traction down, and the Aston Martin can't bite down on those rear tyres hard enough, but Roman Bykov has got the persistence, and they make a little bit of a hip check between the pair through Campus and now into Stavolo, as Michael Brock will start the final lap of this race. P3 is really heating up because Derek Tyndall is right on the back of Raul Idiate and Brian Zinn as they come through Blanchimont for what is going to be the penultimate time, as Michael Brock, the 421, has led from lights out, and at this way it's 4 miles to go for the 421 Mustang. Idiate still holds station ahead of Derek Tyndall, and Kyle Mavis is there. Kyle Mavis is there. It's a quartet, as there is the white flag being waved, and Thomas Lathrop could be the outside back here for the final position in the overall top 3 as they go into La Source for the final time. Idiate now on bump drafting on Brian Zinn, who has a bit of a wiggle. Oh, that was a bit of a drama there. Something puckered up for the 82 with Brian Zinn, and he managed to hang on to it and stretch the legs of the Mustang. The rear tyres bit down into the tarmac, and off he was like a stabbed rat. was the 82, and Brian Zinn has held on for so long. Idiate's got to slow down. Mavis has got to slow down. This could give an opportunity to Derek Tyndall. So Idiate's got to serve that now. Otherwise, he is going to have a big problem. Mavis is trying to serve his.
Here comes Tyndall on the inside.
And Tyndall dives to the inside here at Le Combe, and he's through on pure merit. Cut Derek Tyndall. How's about them apples, my good friend? Well done to him. He's up to P4, but we are counting down the seconds here at Spa-Francorchamps, and he's nearly 60% of the way through the final lap. Michael Brock is looking to make it a wonderful win here at Spa, here on Apex this GT4 Tuesdays. He has been untouched so far in this race. The timer has struck 0, and at this moment Michael Brock is probably making his way in towards Le Fagnes, in towards Campus and Stavelot, and then we'll have the run all the way through into Blanchimont. And more to the point, Michael Brock will pick up his second win of the series. Here he is. Let's concentrate on the 421 as Kyle Mavis gets another slowdown penalty. But Michael Brock has done what he needed to do. Put it on pole position, and with it, get a clean race. He has not put a foot wrong. He's crossed every T. He's dotted every I. And he's made it work here in Detroit's finest, the 421. Michael Brock will take victory as he comes out of the final corner. It's Brock from lights out to checkered flag here at Spa-Francorchamps. He wins week 5.
Jump back here. Oh, Tyndall off into the barrier. As they were coming around to finish the lap up, Lathrup's going to move up into 5th. Rail's going to hang on to that 4th spot. Zinn now up to 3rd. We'll see Lemke come across the line here in 2nd. Right behind him is this battle here for Brian Zinn and Raul Larry. I'm gonna let you say it again. And then Thomas. Thank you.
Raul Idiate.
I gotta learn to. I gotta roll my R's better than that.
Don't worry. Thomas Lathrop, what a drive from 10th on the grid, and look at that. John Cooper takes P7. Derek Tyndall, with no front bumper on that Mercedes, is going to round out your top 10 after what was a dramatic comeback for the 042. Big front end damage, and Derek Tyndall limps it home.
Come back here
but
and see if
you know what
we need
to have a look at this, because Kyle Mavis got a slowdown penalty, but now you've got here, this is Idiate versus Tyndall, and I'm sorry, that was a bit too close. I'm wondering if there might be a protest coming in.
I want to see that from let's take a look at that from Raul's in-car here. See if we can see what happened there.
Yeah, the just by looking from that particular angle, so we're on board with Derek. So effectively, Raul's swiped. Look, way too close. Bang! There's the contact. Light tap to the right rear, and it's put Derek into the wall. Lost the front bumper. It's broken the left front completely, the uprights and the suspension. And Derek, credit where credit is due, got that back home and finished P10 overall. But nevertheless, if I was Derek Tyndall, I would be, and I'm gonna put it this way, and I'm not going to be unbiased, but that says to me, I think Raul might be under the scrutiny of race control after that one.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. They raced hard this whole 45 minutes. And just a little mistake there from Raul. I don't think it was anything intentional, but he just closed up on the back of Derek there, so a little bit too quick, kind of swiped across the back bumper and put Derek into the wall. We've raced with these guys now for how many weeks, and we just don't see that kind of stuff with an Apex this. So I don't think there was any intent there, but definitely a mistake. Cost Tyndall a better finish here today.
Yeah, and it could mean that Raul Idiate might get a post-race penalty after that. But, well, what a race here at Spa. And it has been a second win for the man that has had not exactly the best run of luck, but more to the point, Michael Brock. We're just waiting for him to see if he's going to turn up. But we're going to take you to the post-race interview show here at Race and Nexus. So, right, first of all, let's bring in, our mid-pack Larry's winner, who continues to dominate this series, Kyle Mavis joins us. Kyle, good evening. Well, that could have been an overall podium for you, but it got a bit fruity towards the end of the race, didn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, we practiced last night, and the track temps were a lot cooler. Got a little carried away there over Radion, and dropped a few tires, had a few slowdowns, and just started bumping me back down the line. So, and of course, I'm willing to race these guys, but I understand that I'm racing for a different set of championship points than them. So while I'm willing to defend and have some fun and enjoy the drive, I'm not one to put anybody's race at risk or anything like that for the pro guys out
No, I completely understand and appreciate that. I think, just to show how strong you've actually been all season, it's not, some people might be saying that, well, he shouldn't be there, he shouldn't be in P3. You earned that qualifying result on merit, and it showed the pace of the Mustang around here at Spa, didn't it?
Yeah, it rotates really well in a couple of the spots where you really need it to, and of course, it's got the power to push down the straights. If you tuck into a bit of a draft, it's really strong. Had a great little run there for a while. The Boxsters, or the Caymans, I should say, just really get out of those hairpins so well, and it's one of those deals where I'm able to catch back up on the straightaways, but they're able to jump out on some of those hairpins to pull that immediate gap, and it makes it really tricky to try and get it past it unless somebody makes a mistake.
But still, nevertheless, even though you finished P6, that is another victory in the mid-pack Larry's division, and you continue to extend your championship lead. Thoughts ahead of Sebring, which brings us to the halfway point of the series next week.
No, Sebring's going to be tricky. I think, like a lot of these guys, I'm going to be making the jump back into the GT3 stuff to prepare for the big Daytona stuff coming up for this weekend. So it's going to be, a lot of laps in that, and then having to jump back into the GT4s, which have so much less grip, and then trying to tackle a very bumpy and tricky, track there in Sebring with Sunset. That's always going to be a hairy corner, no matter what you're driving. But especially in these GT4s with all the weight and the horsepower and this little downforce, it's always a handful.
Well, Kyle, congratulations once again on another victory in the mid-pack Larry's division. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to say thank you to tonight?
No, I just want to say thanks to my wife and daughter for letting me do this stupid stuff and have a good bit of time. And thanks again to you guys for the awesome broadcast you do. It's always a pleasure to get back to watch these back after the fact. Thanks again.
Brilliant. Kyle, congratulations on the W, and we'll see you next week for the halfway point of the season when we head to Sebring. Well done tonight.
Thanks, Alex.
So, with that in mind, we're now going to bring in our third place driver overall, and he's standing by. I've got Chris Murphy, joined by Brian Zinn. Over to you, Chris.
Brian, you got Chris and Alex here in the booth. How you doing today, buddy?
Pretty good. How are y'all doing tonight?
Fantastic, man. You guys, it's anytime we get a chance to Tuesday nights, I look forward to these races. You guys put on such a great show. You got yourself up into third there. You were kind of hanging back, and then Raul and Kyle made a little mistake. You took advantage of it and got up into the podium. You kind of running back about 6th or 7th for most of the race. What did you see up in front of you to allow you to get yourself up onto the podium?
Yeah, pretty much that. I didn't have outright pace, certainly not to the likes of Lemke or Michael up in first and second. So my thought process was maybe I could get closer in the pit stops or even jump one or both of them in the pit stops, but I was just struggling with the car. I didn't have much practice time, got home late from work, and really jumped in about 10 minutes left in practice. So uh, normally I have a pretty good handle on the Mustang, but it was fighting me tonight. So really my only shot was if everybody in front of me fought and made mistakes, and that's exactly what they did. I got a double slowdown from Raul and Kyle in front of me, and said, "Thank you very much. I'll take advantage of that." And thankfully, they kept battling and allowed me to pull away just a smidge. So that was pretty much all it was for me tonight.
Yeah, you don't always have to be the fastest out there to finish up towards the front. You take advantage of other people's mistakes, and you did just that. Did you see what was going on in your mirror there that last lap? It looked like Raul and Derek were going to put a run on you there towards the end, but they got together, kind of gave you a little bit of separation there at the end, about a second clear. But could you see what was going on behind you?
Yeah, Derek's my teammate, so him and I were in our Discord chat talking, and unfortunately he got taken out by Rule on the run down through Blanchimont. But yeah, I was hoping that they would fight and allow me to stay clear. But the draft is strong around here. You make one tiny slip up, or have a bad run up Eau Rouge, or have a bad exit out of Paul Freire onto the the back straight down through Blanchimont up to the bus stop, you're just cooked. So I was like, I was really struggling with understeer through turn 14 or turn 15. I just, no matter what I tried, lifting and coasting or trail braking, I couldn't get it to turn in. And so last lap, I had a bad run, and I was like, oh no, here we go again. And then they had their coming together, and that was kind of the final curtain close for any threat to me. So sucks for my teammate, but yeah, help me. So thanks, Derek.
Well, next week
Your sacrifice was worthy.
Yeah, there you go. That's a teammate for you right there. You kind of, guess sometimes you got to take one on the chin. But next week we'll come back to the States at Sebring. What are you looking forward to next week? How are you feeling about that?
I am absolutely bummed I'm going to miss next week because I love Sebring, but it's for a good reason because I'm actually going to be driving down to the Rolex 24 at Daytona. So if I got to miss Sebring, it better be for good reason, and go into the real life 24 hours Daytona is pretty solid reason. So unfortunately, I won't be there, but I will be back for Long Beach, and I will be looking to be right at the front. I absolutely love Long Beach. It's one of my favorite tracks. Just got to survive the carnage there.
Well, we're going to keep an eye on the Discord, look for some pictures from you from 24 hours. That ought to be a fun week. But before we let you go, you got anybody you want to give a thanks to?
Thanks to you guys, Racer Nexus, for always putting on the broadcast. Enjoy going back and watching it afterwards. Shout out to Kent and all the admins for Apex This. It's the best league I've been part of for many seasons now. Not looking to go away anytime soon. It's a great group of guys, and it's growing every week, and it's growing with a lot of fast guys. So kudos to their efforts for bringing all these guys in and keeping them around for a while. And shout out to, again, my teammate Derek. Unfortunate night for him, and ending wise, he was having a strong race too, and he's in solid position for the championship so far. He got moved up to the pro class this season after winning the MPL last season. So, but yeah, just hats off to everybody. It's a great group to be around.
Well, good job again tonight, and have fun in Florida, man. I'm jealous, so have a good week down there.
I just wanted to be warm. Last year I went and I was freezing my butt off. I just wanted to be warm, so that's all I asked for.
All right,
But
man.
yes, pictures will be going up in the Discord if you're part of it. If you're not, why not? Click the link in the description, guys.
Yeah, there you go. All right, man. Have a good week, and we'll see you again next time.
Good night, y'all.
Bet.
So big thank you there to Brian Zinn, and funnily enough, I've now been able to catch up with our man who continues to dominate proceedings. He has not placed out of the top two all season long. Winner at Mid-Ohio, but Brian Lemke joins us here in the booth. Brian, good evening. Firstly, another 4 second places and a victory this season. You continue to extend your lead in the series. You really had no answer for Michael because he just went away like a stabbed rat, didn't he?
He did. He was gone. He was fast tonight. I could tell in qualifying, could tell in practice, and he got out front. I was kind of in some traffic. Those guys were battling a little bit, and he just sailed off. And even when I got open track, like I just had nothing for him. His lap times were so fast tonight. Nobody was catching him tonight. He was on a whole nother level. It was impressive to see.
But still, I think you're the only person that we've seen that really hasn't changed their car at all in the opening 5 rounds, and that BMW seems to be a really, really good package in your hands. So, and even with the speed differential between you and Michael, you still brought it home, and that's still a good amount of championship points as well. Plus, let's talk about that pit stop. You got the undercut done. It was a great tactical move. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, I was behind those guys, let's say Kyle and Raul, and they were just kind of battling out. And I mean, I wasn't gonna get around. I wasn't gonna pass them on the track. There's no way. So what do? You follow them into the pits? No, like I got to undercut, try something, throw a little Hail Mary. I was shocked when I came out of the pits with like a 3 or 4 second gap over those guys. I don't know if something happened on their in lap or something or their pit stop, but I did not see that coming. I will gladly accept it. It was a little gift, and it all worked out. I was very happy for that.
So next week we go to Sebring. How do you fancy your chances there?
Yeah, I like Sebring a lot. We've done quite a few races in that. We'll see how the BMW does there. That I might try the AMG. We might, I don't know, we might switch it up. We'll see. We'll see how the practice goes this week. But really looking forward to it. It's a lot of fun there.
Brilliant. Well, Brian, congratulations on a great run so far in the opening 5 rounds of this 12-week series here for Apex. Before we let you go, who'd you like to say thank you for tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Michael, man. He was just a beast tonight. That was an incredible drive, and hope he doesn't do it every week. But it was nice to see him do it this week, and we'll see what next week brings. Hopefully, I have something for him. We'll find out.
Indeed, Brian, it's always a pleasure to have a chat with you. Well done on second place tonight and continue to extend your lead in the Pro Class division.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
And to conclude our post-race interview show, Chris Murphy is standing by that the man that took pole position, fastest lap, and a lights to flag victory. Chris is joined by our winner for week 5, Michael Brock.
Hey guys.
Going on, Michael?
How you doing?
Hey, Chris and Alex in the booth, buddy, man. Fantastic run out there. You must have practiced hours and hours all week long.
Yeah, thanks. I wish I didn't. Actually, there was like an official race here, like, I don't know, a few weeks ago. It was a slightly different layout, so I kind of ran that, and so it was, quasi fresh for me. So, I guess in a way, practicing.
Well, started on the pole. This thing just kind of got away from there and just, helped. Could you see the guys in the back behind you kind of battling it out?
Yeah. I think they were like, I don't know, a few seconds back, and then around like at the corner of the front straight, I saw that they were kind of getting side by side. But I don't know. I have to watch it back though. I don't really know exactly what went down. But I know Raul was behind me for a while, and he was actually I think he got like a groove once in a while because my relative wasn't really going up that quick. He was actually really fast for most of the lap. And then after the pit, I don't know what happened with Brian. All of a sudden, Brian kind of just jumped up on my relative. So I don't know. I'll have to watch it back and see what happened.
Yeah, Brian did a great job on the undercut, got himself up into second. But I gotta tell you one thing. Me and Alice cover a bunch of different races together, and I'm always watching the YouTube chat and everything we do, and you by far have the best cheerleader in Jen.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, she's great. That victory burnout, well, that was for her, 100%.
Well,
actually, I gotta talk to Kent about getting some incident points off for that because I only had 2 incident points, and now I think I after that I had like 12 or so.
From the burnout.
Yeah. Because
Wow.
all the off tracks, and I think Roman and I were smashing into each other a little bit.
Oh, that's funny. Well, next week we go to Sebring, and how you like your chances when we get to Sebring next week?
Sebring. Oh yeah, yeah. Honestly, that's probably one of my favorite tracks. I don't know if I'm the best at it, but I always enjoy it, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Well, fantastic run tonight. You were definitely the class of the field. And before we let you get out of here, you got anybody else you want to give a thanks to?
Thanks, guys. Yeah. So yeah, my lovely wife Jen, as usual, and then I want to make a special shout out today for my 7-year-old son Jason. He's gonna have this Friday. He's having surgery to remove his tonsils, so he's really nervous about it, but he's being really strong and really grown up, and I just want to let him know that his mom and dad are really proud of him.
Yeah, man, we'll be there. We'll send a good thoughts your way as well, and have yourself a great week. And really looking forward to next Tuesday night. Always look forward to our racers Tuesday night with Apex. You guys just put on one hell of a show, and just really appreciate you guys being there with us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yep, we'll see you next week.
All right.
Well, that concludes the post-race interview show. So shout out to Michael and Jen's son, just 7, having his tonsils removed. I mean, any child that has that kind of operation at that age, our thoughts are with you, Michael, and with Jen, and obviously for your son to have a successful operation at the tail end of this week. But what a race that we've had here tonight, Chris, at Spa-Francorchamps. Michael Brock, the class of the field, winning by 17 seconds. It was 5.5 at the pit stop. the Mustang just kept on motoring, and it just paid dividends for Michael, and he showcased that's why he's a two-time race winner now. And it means that we head to Sebring with a possible change of wind in the air, so to speak, going to Florida once again. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. I mean, you look at Brian Lemke, you look at Carl Mavis, they are extending their respective leads in both the pro and the mid-pack Larry divisions. But when we get to the halfway point, I think things are going to get a little bit more rough and tumble when we head to Long Beach on the last week of January for week 7.
Oh, for sure. It's Sebring's going to be definitely unique. I mean, we're kind of jumping around here. A little bit of rain at Mid Ohio. Come to Spa, just a classic racetrack here. I've been looking forward to this race all year long, and it just did not disappoint. I was hoping for maybe a little bit more racing for the lead. Michael kind of stunk that up right there, just running away with it. But just kudos to him. I know he's had some ups and downs throughout the season, so just really happy for Michael coming home and taking his second win.
Indeed. So that is it from us here for Apex this GT4 Tuesdays. Week 5 at Spa-Francorchamps is in the books. And we've got one more stop before we hit the halfway point of the series. The next race will be next week, same place, same time, January 20th. We will be heading to the iconic Sebring International Raceway. This has been a Racer Nexus broadcast production. You've been in the company of Alex Goldschmidt and Chris Murphy. We wish you all a very, very good end of the rest of the week. And obviously, the very, very best of luck for those competing in the upcoming iRacing Daytona 24 Hours powered by VCO. Until next time, race hard, race fair, and as always, keep it pinned. We'll see you next time. Good night.